conditions are as predicted. We saw the westerly change come through. It's on the fire ground as we speak, which is continuing to push the fire in that easterly direction. 8 emergency warnings are still in effect for many communities to the east of the Grampians National Park, but in particular for Wallara, Maroona, Moyston and Streatham for leave immediately. Conditions will be very dynamic throughout the evening. We are expecting some high winds. We're now looking at around 90 km/h gusts for the westerly, which is back 10 kilometres from the predicted 100. But the rest of the prediction by the Bureau was pretty well spot on. Firefighters are actively engaged in protecting property and trying to contain the fires where they can. This morning's media, I gave an update to the size of the fire. It was 53,000 hectares. Right now, this evening, it's 72,000 hectares. And to put it into some perspective, that's twice the size of the city of Melbourne. It's been a really big day for firefighters. But I have to say right now, thank you to community. We've been talking about this spike day and bad fire weather condition for a week now. People have heeded the warnings. People have made preparations. They got out early, and it has made all the difference for firefighters and allowing them to focus on the firefight.
And can you tell us a bit more about how conditions have changed throughout the late afternoon and this evening, and what has been the impact of the winds that we've been seeing?
From about 10 o'clock this morning, we really started to see the mercury rise, and we got to temperatures of 40 up in the northwest of the state. Then those northerly winds started to come in with 90 km/h northerlies recorded at Longrenong. With the northerly winds stayed around for us for a while until just after lunchtime, when the Bureau was predicting what they called a prefrontal change, which saw the winds turn slightly west for a short period of time before returning back northwards ahead of the main front coming through, that westerly front which is affecting the fire ground now. We expect that to occur, to continue for the next couple of hours. Temperatures will drop, and they are starting to drop. That relative humidity is starting to come up, which will see fire conditions ease a little bit in the coming hours. But still, the bush is dry, the grasslands are dry. It will continue to push that fire in an easterly direction. But it's not all about the Grampians. The rest of the state of Victoria was in extreme fire dangers. We've still got hot northerly winds across Melbourne at the moment, so we're still continuing to have a focus on other parts of the state to ensure that we don't get any new starts that we have to deal with later on.
Can you tell us a bit more about those other parts of the state that you're also focusing on?
Thanks to some fantastic work by firefighters and emergency service personnel throughout the week, we had concerns about the Booloonrook fire, on the northwest of Melbourne there. We also had concerns to a fire that we had throughout the week at Creswick, and also the fire at the Gerties. We issued maps yesterday afternoon advising people of elevated risk areas and telling them that they had to have a plan. They did, and we're very appreciative of that. Now, we've been watching those fires all day today, and thankfully, whilst there's been some smoke, they haven't moved from their containment lines. We're hoping that remains the case for the rest of the evening as this frontal system moves through the state. So a big day for firefighters already. It will be a big night. Ahead of tomorrow will bring cooler temperatures. However, those westerly winds will still be around for us for a while. We're looking at about 5 days reprieve before we start to see the next build-up of a fire day. So firefighters have some opportunity in the days coming to start to strengthen control lines and get the Grampians fire back under control. But it's going to be many, many weeks of work because that fire is quite large.
And remind us again, which are the main risk areas for now?
For now, all the communities to the eastern side of the Grampians National Park, but in particular for Wallara, Maroona, Moyston and Streatham, they are currently under emergency warnings for leave now messaging. The fire is still very active. When this frontal system, or as it's moving through, the fire situation will remain very dynamic for the next couple of hours. So We're asking communities to ensure and continue to watch the Vic Emergency app, the Vic Emergency website, and listen to your emergency broadcaster. Again, I can't thank enough community for the preparations that you've done, and also being able to listen to authorities and take the action of authorities. And I ask community just to bear with us for a few more hours whilst we get through the worst of this frontal change.
And of course, some of these communities were badly hit by fires in February, Pomona residents in particular.
That's right. It wasn't that long ago, February, in fact, that we saw 45 homes lost on the eastern side of the Grampians National Park there. And that same community today came under threat yet again, with the fire making its way towards the bottom part of the village that hadn't burnt earlier in February. The community back then was prepared. They got out early. They were prepared again, and a lot of effort had gone into securing Pomona. I don't have any reports of any homes lost throughout today, which is absolutely amazing. We anticipate there's likely to be some sheds and outbuildings and the like, with the amount of farmland that is alight right now to the east of the Grampians. I'm also suspecting there'll be fences and the like. But due to the fantastic work of firefighters and the fantastic work of community, we've managed to not have any reported property loss so far. And
what's been the impact on animals in the area? How can anyone needing animal welfare help seek it?
The community relief centres that have been set up around the fire, and information on where they are located is available on Vic Emergency app. Many people are looking after their animals there, as well as tending to get advice and how to look after them. I know many of the farmers have made preparations. They moved their stock to safer ground. They've been ploughing fire breaks and the like to make sure they are protecting their animals. As I said, this is part of the fire plan that the Westmere group of brigades put together ahead of today's firefight. Again, we're not getting any initial reports of stock losses. However, the fire is still very dynamic. As I said, some 72,000 hectares alight. We'll have a better, clearer picture of what's gone on come the morning. But at the moment, it seems like, thanks to the work of community and thanks to the work of firefighters, we haven't got the losses that ordinarily you might have expected on a day like today.
And when you say the fire is dynamic, just how difficult is it for support services and your control centre to predict what's going to happen and to prepare?
Look, Australians should be comforted by the knowledge that we have some of the best fire behaviour analysts in the world, in my opinion. In fact, the fire behaviour analyst team that was on duty today in the State Control Centre, we've not long recently deployed to Canada to help them with their fires recently. These people are expert in predicting fire behaviour. They look at the weather, they look at the fuels, they do significant research and remodelling of past fires to understand how the fire interplays with the landscape and with the weather, and they're able to put that together. I can say that they've been pretty bang on today, where we thought the fire was going to go, where we thought the weak points were on the fire, and they've been able to give that information to the fire crews on the ground, which has helped us inform the community messaging that we have, but it also helped us put together the elevated risk maps that we were able to send out to communities yesterday to allow people to make informed decisions about what they were going to do this morning.
And today's fire danger in Victoria is said to be the worst since the Black Summer bushfires of 2019-2020. Would you agree with that? What are the main factors that increase the fire risk?
I think in some comparison to that day, if I think back to the 21st of February 2019, it was the first Code Red day that Victoria had seen pre the introduction of the new Australian Fire Danger Warning System. It was a bad day. We saw plenty of fires, but you didn't see the sheer area of the state that was in those high extremes that we did today. Those hot northerly winds were right across the state, giving concern for firefighters